Welcome back everyone. In today's video, we're just going to take a quick detour to fix our UI to make it look a lot more prettier than what it was before. We were having a work in progress all this while, and I think now is a good time for us to clean that up. As you can see, I've added the lock images and also I've added the gargoyle and the angel to the left and the right side, and also brought in the health and the stamina bar much more closer and tighter. To make it look a lot visually appealing. And also I have added a little icon underneath each and every single abilities to indicate which input action button corresponds with which ability. So let's get into it. We're going to start with just labeling all of our input actions so that in game it actually shows you which button to press to activate which ability. First thing we're going to do is inside of the ability box, we're going to actually bring in our ability icon and put it into the ability box, what the positioning of each and every single ability is going to be. Once you do that, we're going to go ahead and create a wrap box and drop it into our canvas panel. And we're going to rename this drop box as input action buttons holder. And inside of this, I'm going to go to a size box. So it gives me the freedom to size my buttons as I see fit. And also I'm going to add a border. Oh, should be a border. Okay. And inside of the border, I'm going to add a text. And this would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to rename this text to 1. And in Diablo, the keybinds are always showing. So I'm going to make it so that it's always showing as well. And you can choose to show or hide the keybinds corresponding with each and every single ability by taking a look at the index. And when this index is valid, then you just show the button. It's a pretty simple equate function. If you'd like me to do that function, please let me know in the comments and I'll be more than happy to make another video to show you how to make the input abilities, input buttons to show or hide based on the availability of the abilities. I'm going to take this input action and I'm going to set the anchor to the bottom middle, and then set the input to 0. Set positions to 0. I'm going to drag this wrap box all the way across from beginning of one ability to the other ability, and also set the horizontal alignment to right align, because this is where our first button is and the last button is this way. You can do it either way, but I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to open this size box and go to the text and set the size of the text to like 15 and also set the color to black. And the border, I'm going to change the color of the border to like a dirty yellowish kind of color, like that. Maybe a little bit more darker would not hurt the situation. There we go. And now I'm going to copy and paste this 5 more times, and that will give me 6 buttons. And I'm going to go to each and every single one of these buttons, and I'm going to label this from 6 all the way down to 1. Okay, and now we're going to select the input action. And inside of the input action, you would notice that there is an inner slot padding. We're going to move the inner slot padding, increase the value until we find the place to be properly aligned underneath the button. We're going to actually make this horizontal alignment to center rather than the left, so it doesn't touch the left side over here. And we're going to update the inner slot padding until we get a proper positioning, like that. That looks about good. And now in game, you would actually see the input action right below the actual button itself. In Diablo, these icons has a lock icon on it when the ability is not available, and when the abilities are available, the lock icon disappears and you can actually set the ability. So we're going to set that up right now. For us to do the lock ability, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go to our content drawer, right click on the ability icon, and we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to call this w underscore ability lock. We're going to go inside of this ability lock and go inside the graph, and we're going to delete all of these functions. We don't need to do any of that. We don't need any of these variables here as well because it's going to be a very simple setup. We're going to take the cooldown image and delete it. We're going to take the cooldown text and delete it. And the portrait is the only one that we're going to work with. The reason why I duplicated it because this is already sized, so we can go ahead and use this as we need. Now, I have done two things outside of this. I have created two images that I can use for this purpose. Inside of my imports folder, I'm going to drag and drop a frame, a lock frame, and also I'm going to drag and drop a lock. So this is the lock. It's not the same as Diablo, but this is the best I could come up with. So I went ahead and I got this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this portrait holder and then open it up and then select the portrait. And then I'm going to select the lock portrait for this purpose under the brush and then set the lock. I'm going to take a image and put it on top of the overlay. Select the image and then set it to fill. Oh, sorry, middle. So let's set it to fill. And I'm going to select the lock frame and I'm going to go ahead and set that as our image. Set this down to 32 by 32 and that should fit the image itself. Compile and save. And now the portrait holder, I'm just going to create another image and put it on top of, put it on the overlay again. And now this time I'm going to put this underneath. Let's rename this. This would be our frame. And this would be our background. And the background again, I'm going to do a fill by fill and select the brush and make it like a dirty green looking color. And I'm going to take this portrait and then put it below both of these and that would add this. So with the padding, I'm going to make it 0 so it gets a little bit bigger. And I want to center this and center align these as well. Compile and save. Now we have our icon. In our third person player HUD, create a new overlay. Let's do that first. And put it into our canvas panel. Select the overlay, set the anchor to bottom, and 0 out the position. And then bring the overlay and size it to the existing ability box. And then now we're going to go to our abilities here, copy it, and then go to the abilities here and then paste it. And you will get the exact same ability. Inside of this ability box 1 container, we're going to go ahead and search for W underscore ability lock. This, and if we drop it into the container, it's going to show that. So we're going to go ahead and paste it 6 times, and it's going to show as such. We're going to select the ability and we're going to just center it so it looks nice and centered. If we go in game now, and if I pick up the first ability, oh, sorry, we need to put the overlay on top of everything else. Okay, and now if I go inside and press pick up the ability, there you go. The first ability gets picked up, and also it gets a nice little border as well. We're going to bring all of these images together and make it nice and tight. First, I'm going to go to the ability icon. And as you can see, there is a little extra frame that we left there. I'm going to grab an image and drop it onto the overlay. And set this image all the way to the back. And then fill this image up. And go to my content drawer. And then add this lock frame as the image here. And then make the size X 32, Y as 32. That should fit into that. Additionally, I'm going to click on this overlay. We scaled it to 0.9. We're going to reset that scale so it's at 1. And the ability lock, we're going to click on the overlay again, reset the size here. And all of this should be good. And now if I go back to my player HUD, there's no gaps in between all of this. If I go press play, you'll notice everything is nice and tight. And if I grab a ability, the frame comes in now. and also sits nice and tight, just like how it is in Diablo. I've also created a gargoyle and an angel image that looks like it's like holding the health bar and the stamina bar. I'm going to bring both of those in here, drag it and drop the angel and the gargoyle. Now it looks kind of like a fresh statue. If I mess with the hue a little bit, I can make it look much more greenish. This give it like an oxidized look, like a 115. Same thing for the angel as well. We don't need this ability lock or the icon anymore. And we're going to again create a separate overlay. We're going to create a new overlay to hold those. So I'm going to create an overlay again and put it on the canvas panel. Rename this overlay to gargoyle. And inside of this overlay, I'm going to put a size box, which will allow me to size the gargoyle. And inside of this, I'm going to put an image file and image. And this image is going to be first, we're going to do the gargoyle. Select the overlay and then put it on the bottom right, sorry, bottom left, and then set the position to 0. And we'll see the gargoyle there already. I'm just going to stretch this out. Good. I'm going to take this and size it so that it aligns with our square here and also pushing onto the health bar. Compile and save. I'm going to copy this gargoyle overlay and then paste it again. And I can, it's going to paste it inside of the gargoyle box. I'm going to go and drag it on top of the canvas so it will get removed. And now I'm going to name this angel and grab the image, select the image of the angel and then select it here. Select the angel and set the anchor to bottom right. Set the position to 0. I'm going to size it quickly. Select the angel overlay, size it, and then now bring the overlay close here. And now we're going to make it bigger and also stretch it this way. So it looks like the one from the Diablo games. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger than the actual thing just so that I can have the wings stretched out there. Okay, and we can close this out. Select the gargoyle and then we need to set the anchors properly. So drag this top corner anchor and drop it there. And the bottom one, we're going to zoom in and, oh, it's not letting me put the anchor properly. Okay. It's weird, it's not letting me move the anchor over. All right, it's a little odd. Same thing here, I'm gonna drag the anchor right over here. It seems to be clipping, so that's probably what it is. Like it's snapping, I mean. Okay, there we go. And then move this in here. I went ahead and I imported a different angel image. This one was just too small and it was taking a lot of the room here. And then this one looks a little bit more tighter and the full content is showing and it's much more closer to what Diablo is. And I just quickly replaced that image over. And if I were to press play, it looks like that, which looks really cool. Now you can even make it so that it's a little bit further in, something like this. If I were to take this and then offset right, and if I go keep offsetting it until it feels much more tighter and then set up the anchors properly. And same thing for the health bar. Now this one's an offset left. And then if I were to go and offset this even further and then set up the anchors properly, this looks much better than before. You can feel free to bring it closer or further away as you see fit. Alright folks, I think that is a great spot for us to stop this video. I know we took a little detour from where we were supposed to be doing by creating the abilities. We decided to go ahead and clean up the UI. We're in the final portion of the tutorials now. We need to create the abilities and kind of do the functionalities for them, and then that will be the end of the entire tutorial series. So I wanted to take this opportunity to clean up the UI and finalize it to make it look nice and tidy. So again, thank you very much for joining me with this tutorial series all this far, and I really appreciate it if you can press that like button if this video has helped you in any way. This can help the channel grow and reach out to many more developers just like you. Once again, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.